So today I kind of just wanted to talk about my expectations for the Sony, the PlayStation Showcase next week. I'm looking forward to it overall, especially because they didn't have one last year, which was a bit unfortunate. Usually they're pretty good with that stuff. But yeah, there should be a lot here. There's going to be a lot of Sony games as a service, I feel, because they said they want to release a bunch of them starting this year. So at least The Last of Us multiplayer will be here. A couple others, like the Horizon multiplayer, would not be a surprise. Spider-Man 2 is a given. It has to be here. I would hope gameplay, because it's supposed to come out in fall, ideally like September, but still. Wolverine, as much as I would love to see a Wolverine, we're not going to get that. It's way too far out. I think they announced that way too early, personally. Um, what else, really? Ghost of Tsushima 2 would be good, but I mean, that game came out less than 3 years ago, so I don't really think it's plausible, unless they want to announce it and be like, oh yeah, it's coming out in like 5 years, which, again, I don't really love those types of announcements. Um, some people have been throwing around GTA 6. I mean, do I even need to humor that? I don't know. It's every time somebody mentions it, it sounds ridiculous. So I'm just no, it's not happening. It's definitely not going to be a timed exclusive, like people are saying. Like people need to really set their expectations for this. It's going to be a lot of games as a service, probably a lot of PSVR 2 as well, because they said that that's going to be here. I wouldn't be surprised if that takes like a quarter or even half of the time, which is going to upset people, but I personally wouldn't be surprised. Um, for PSVR 2, I'm not really expecting much. I would love Half-Life Alyx, but again, not really expecting that. What else? Oh, this is the part where it gets more interesting. For me, at least. I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan, so I would love to see Final Fantasy VII Rebirth gameplay, because we got a trailer last summer, so I think it's about time that we get gameplay, especially since they said that's coming out the end of this year. Like, yeah, like, let's go, let's get it moving. I know people will say, well, they still need to market 16, and that's true, but they've marketed 16 a lot. It even had a state of play in its own hour, like, presentation thing, which are all great and good or whatever, but, like, I think we're good on, like, new trailers and gameplay and marketing for that game overall. Honestly, I think we're good on that. Like, I don't need to see more. Most people I know don't need to see more. Like, it's, you know, cool if it's there. Ideally, it's just in a highlight reel if it's there, and then we can focus on 7 Rebirth, because we barely know anything about that game, let's be honest. So that would be way more interesting. Some of my dream announcements, right? Like, they're out there, but I'm not going to be disappointed at the showcase if they're not there, because that's not in the showcase. That's me falsely setting expectations. That's why it's not my expectations. It's in, like, my biggest wishes here. First one, not that crazy. Persona 3 Remake. I've gotten into Persona very recently. I beat 5 at the beginning of this year, and shortly after I beat 4 when it came to consoles. So that's great. I do think this one is not a crazy prediction, but I have heard rumors that it's more likely to show up at the Xbox Showcase than the PlayStation one, which, like, yeah, is a bummer because we gotta wait a bit longer. But I mean, as long as it's announced this summer, I'm not gonna complain. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's unfortunate that we gotta wait till June 11th, maybe. Again, not trying to get like hopes up here or whatever, but it's not the end of the world. It's only a couple weeks away. So I would really like that at some point over the summer. It doesn't have to be at this showcase. It really doesn't. But it would be cool if it was. Um, Another one that's pretty safe, Metal Gear Solid 3. I've never played a Metal Gear game. I heard 5 on modern platforms is like the worst one by far, so I'm not going to touch it. But I'm the most interested in 1 through 4, and even Twin Snakes on the GameCube. I'm interested in it. So I would really like if any, or preferably all of those, get remade for modern platforms eventually. But if they start with 3, I wouldn't be mad, because I heard it's actually considered one of the best, if not the best, in the series. So I'd be down. It would be my first time playing a Metal Gear game. Sign me up, you know, that's great. And that seems pretty likely as well, too, based off of rumors and leaks. The last one is the most out there one, I would say, but it does still have some merit behind it. It is going to take a bit of explaining, though. Final Fantasy IX Remake. When you first hear that, you might be like, come on. They're doing 7 Remake Part 2 and 16 this year. Don't they have to wait and chill? Totally. I could absolutely see that 100%. Yeah, like, I get it. We don't need 2 remake series and a new game at the same time. Like that, there's a lot going on there, you know? But one of the head people of Final Fantasy at Square Enix at the beginning of the year in January said that there is going to be a major Final Fantasy announcement sometime this year. It doesn't have to be here, but it is not Final Fantasy 7 or 16 related in any way. So, there we go. Number 2, this is a more loose connection, but I still think it's fair to consider. We do have a Final Fantasy IX anime confirmed and releasing sometime this year, I'm pretty sure. I haven't really been following it much. I don't watch anime, so I really don't care. But, yeah, it's supposed to be releasing sometime soon, I think. I could be wrong on that. All I know for sure is that it's releasing at some point in our lifetimes. Cool. So that's another point for it. The last one and most interesting in that GeForce NVIDIA leak, I know, but most of those games have come true, and every single Square Enix game in that GeForce leak was correct, except for Tactics Remastered, which I would absolutely love, and Final Fantasy IX Remake. Those are the 2 yet to be announced. I thought Kingdom Hearts 4 was going to be the fake one out of all of that. And look at me now, egg on my face. Because that got announced really early in advance, let me tell you. That was pretty cool, though. But anyway, those are kind of like my evidence, if you will, of, yeah, you know, it can happen. And obviously, if they were to announce a Final Fantasy thing, it would most likely be at a Sony showcase, if not their own showcase. It's not going to be at an Xbox or a Nintendo thing, you know. So, yeah, again, is it crazy likely? No, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my god, get extremely hype, all that stuff I just mentioned is guaranteed. No, especially not 9, no. Final Fantasy IX is my favorite Final Fantasy of all time by far, by the way, by far. So I would scream for a remake. I hope and pray that this is true. And I hope and pray that's at the PlayStation Showcase. But if not, that's not on the PlayStation Showcase and that's not on Square Enix. So I'm tempering my expectations because it easily could not be. It easily could not even be real. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But that's the number one thing I would want more than anything out of this showcase is a Final Fantasy IX Remake announcement. Ooh, I would lose my mind, let me tell you. I would do videos on it like crazy. Favorite Final Fantasy of all time. Could you imagine them having voices? Oh my goodness, that'd be so cool. And modern graphics would be great. Not that the graphics were bad, but they are dated now. So that would be great. Oh man, I would really like that. So yeah, those are kind of like my expectations and then my wish list. Nothing too crazy, I would say. Everything I've said has at least some merit to it. Because at least 9 Remake has been leaked. I'm not just pulling it out of thin air, you know? So there is a chance, however minimal it is. But yeah, I'm very curious. I'm not crazy hyped for this showcase, if I have to be honest. Just because I feel like it's going to be a lot of games as a service that they confirm that they're doing starting this year, and a lot of PSVR 2 stuff. I could be wrong on that. I hope I'm wrong on that. But games like that don't get me excited, personally. It's cool for the people that do. If I was one of those people, I'd be losing my mind right now, but I'm more of just like a single-player person, so none of that really interests me. But yeah, it should be a good time. I'm just, with any video game thing, whether it be a Nintendo Direct, a PlayStation Showcase, an Xbox, whatever the heck they call it, I forgot the name of what they call it. Their big showcases in June. I don't know what they call them. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I just try to always go in with tempered expectations. Because again, you never know. They could announce amazing games, right, that I just have zero interest in. That is always a possibility at these things, and something you have to keep in mind. there's going to be a point in this showcase where they're announcing games that most people just don't care about. That is almost always the case. Remember in the PlayStation Showcase, the 2021, we had Goodbye Volcano High? Cool for the people who want it, but most people did not want that. So it's like stuff like that, you know? It's like, yeah, cool for the minority, but not majority. And that there's absolutely going to be at least a few games of that in here, too. So I'm going in with tempered expectations. We're really hoping for Persona 3 Remake, Metal Gear Remake, and especially 9 Remake. I cannot stress that enough. Please make it happen. Also, side note about the 9 Remake, it doesn't have to be 3 parts like 7 Remake. You could keep the story the same and it would work just as well, in my opinion. So, I'd be cool with the same story, just better graphics. Hit me up with that. So, yeah, those are kind of my predictions, and let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking, and yeah, thank you guys for watching, and let me know if you guys would want a Final Fantasy IX Remake. I might be one of the very few. I know people do want it, but I don't know like if it's the majority or minority, so yeah, just let me know, and thanks for watching. Peace.